Happy Wednesday, everybody. So the first thing we'll do is go over our team announcements. We'll be leaving for Summit next week. Woo. Shift Shop is coming out on July the 12th. If you hit Success Club in July, you're going to earn your Shift Shop tank top exclusive for Success Club. And I'm guessing, too, if you complete the program, you'll get another T-shirt. So you can have 2 chances to win 2 T-shirts this month. July the 19th will be a post-Summit Surge online on Facebook. And if you check your Coach Online office, there's actually in the breaking news section, there's details about who's going to be speaking on that live Summit Surge, post-Summit Surge. And then in August is the Team Cup. If you have never participated in a Team Cup, the rules have actually changed a little bit this time, I'm thinking. Right, Rose? It's a little bit different from what it said online. So what you do with Team Cup, you form a team. It has to have 5 people on it, and it can be anybody. So it's not necessarily someone on Team Arise or someone in your downline. It can be someone from a whole nother team on somebody else's leg or whatever. It doesn't matter. So you can have 5 people on it, and the goal is to see, push yourself to be the best you can, earn as many Success Club points as possible for yourself and for your team, and then you get, really cool prizes. I was looking today, and they had, a blanket. If you hit, Success Club 5, it was a blanket. I think 10 is a Coach hoodie, a bicycle, and then there was a trip to, I want to say California or somewhere. Don't quote me on that. But if you check in your Coach Online office, all that good stuff's in there. And now for our guest speaker, Miss Danielle. She married her high school sweetheart, and they have 2 girls. I have 1, so I don't know how you do 2, because mine is a drama queen. She began coaching officially in January of 2014 and went full-time a year later in February of 2015. Now for the drum roll, all the good stuff about her. Well, that was good, too, that she's married and have kids. She is a Success Club legend, a 2017 Top 200 Elite Coach, 6-star Diamond Coach, founder of Dedication Nation, and a member of the Market Council. And tonight, she is all of ours. You can take it away.
Awesome. Thanks for that awesome introduction. I appreciate it. Can you guys hear me okay? I swear you have 1 call where you start talking and no one can hear you, and you never make that mistake again. Okay, so a couple of disclaimers, you guys. One is I'm a raging hot mess. If I forget what I'm saying mid-sentence, it's not you guys, it's squirrel syndrome, so just don't take it personally. Second thing is I swear like a sailor. I'm really trying to cut back. If I do and your kids are around, I'm really sorry. You can send me their therapy bills. Okay, so I need to ask you guys a question. How many of you have quit something before you were really ready to? Before you really gave it a shot, before you really gave it your all? How many of you done that? On anything. It could be a fitness program. It could be a job. Okay, you guys are with me. I got you. All right. I was the queen of quitting before Beachbody. I was a job jumper. And what I mean by that is I would get a job, and it would be, everything. It was going to change my life. It was going to be everything I wanted it to be. It was going to be perfect in every way. And I'd go through a really short honeymoon phase for 2 or 3 months. I hit my first snag, my first argument with a coworker, my first project that didn't go the way I wanted it to, and I'd start looking for a new job. And by month 9, I was out. And that was the cycle for me for a really long time. I was also that way in a lot of other ways. My personality is very, if I'm not invested in it, if I don't like what I'm doing, I just don't do it. My piano teacher when I was 6 told my parents she knew that I loved a song because I would come in and I would just play my heart out. And if it was a song I didn't like, I would literally plunk through it and get it done and move on. And that is the story of my life. That is how I roll. Okay, so a little about me. You need to know my whole background with health and fitness and my whole background with everything to kind of see how my story goes, all right? So bear with me. my parents gave me a very good childhood. They loved me. They gave me all of the affection in the world, wonderful parents, but they did not give me a health and fitness background at all. I was not an athlete. I avoided running like the plague. It was just not something that I was naturally inclined to do. Our family is German Dutch, meaning we are all about the red meat, the white potatoes, and canned vegetables. I joke, but I'm semi-serious when I say that I don't think I had a fresh leaf of spinach until I was 20. That's just how I was raised. So, I was never super overweight, but I was definitely never healthy. Okay. And I would constantly make these empty promises to myself that, when I reached a certain point, I would make a choice, like I would make a change, because in the back of my head, I always wanted to be fitter. I always wanted to be healthier. I always wanted to have more stamina and endurance. I didn't want to be embarrassed by how slow I ran. I didn't want that, but it wasn't big enough for me to make a change, right? Like you have to have kind of your back against the wall. Something has to inspire you to change. Well, I had not hit that yet. So I would constantly tell myself, I would say, once I hit 200 pounds, then I'll do something about it. And then that came and went. And then I was like, okay, well, once I have to wear plus size clothing, then I'll do something about it. And that came and went. So I just kept doing that, back and forth and never really making a change. Well, my day of change came when my daughter was born. My daughter, Lily, my oldest, was born in December of 2011. And some people will talk about like a trigger picture, or and that's what I call it. I'm sure there's other names for it, but it was the picture I saw of myself that prompted me to make a change. And that was, I was on the hospital bed in those lovely hospital gowns, about to have my daughter. And let me preface this by saying I think that childbirth, pregnancy, what the female body can do are completely incredible, so miraculous, and so wonderful. But what I see in that picture has nothing to do with childbirth or pregnancy. What I see in that picture has everything to do with the 25 years prior to that and the choices I was making. I was near 300 pounds when she was born. I was pre-diabetic. I had a lot of, I was pretty lucky that I didn't have any other bigger health issues, to be honest, and that I had a really great pregnancy. But, I knew that I was kind of playing roulette. Like I knew that it wasn't always going to be that way. As I got older, it wasn't going to get easier. So seeing my daughter in my arms, knowing that I was no longer living my life for myself, she was the reason that I decided to change. And so I walked my butt from the doctor's office. I walked right into a Weight Watchers office and I signed up for Weight Watchers, and I signed a 2-year contract with my local gym, the only gym in town. Guys, when people tell you that our challenge packs are too expensive, that is a crock. I paid $45 a month for Weight Watchers, $67 a month for gym membership, and $300 a month for a personal trainer who only trained me 3 days a week for half an hour. That's a lot of money, and a lot of money that we did not have. But I did not know there was anything else out there that could help me. Because remember, I don't have any health and fitness background. It was not my jam. It was not my crowd. I was not in a network of any kind. But just think, if I would have had a Beachbody coach showing up in my newsfeed telling me all about how these awesome things are and how I only had to pay $160 to make that happen, things might have been a little different. But anyway, so I lost some weight. I lost about 40 pounds, and then I plateaued really hard. Like I felt like no matter what I did, I stayed in these 3 pounds. I didn't see any success. Like I felt like I was totally stalled out. And I stayed that way for about 9 months. In fact, I would say I was on the verge of giving up altogether. I just started the towel saying, you know what, I don't even care anymore. Just get me a burger and some donuts and we'll call it a day. But I got connected to my coach who was sharing on social media. She was sharing all about T25 coming out in a couple months. And so I was like, okay. And she was sharing about the Ultimate Reset. I was like, okay. And she kind of got me with the Ultimate Reset. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. I could maybe do that. Sure. 21 days. Yeah, I could do that. This is before 21-day fix, by the way. And I became the customer that everyone hates. She sent me a link. I said, okay, yeah, I'll sign up today. I'll do it later. And then I fell off the face of the planet. Never did it. Didn't tell her I wasn't going to do it. Just didn't respond. Just bye-bye. In fact, I was so embarrassed by that, you guys, that I deleted our message. I do not delete emails. I do not delete messages. I am like a hoarder of information, okay? But I deleted our initial messages because I was so embarrassed. I just wanted to disappear. I wanted it to go away. Like, I was just kidding. Please don't look at me. Don't talk to me. Like, I was just kidding. because I was embarrassed that I couldn't afford it, that I, was backing out. Luckily, she never gave up on me, even through all my non-responding. That's a little hint, you guys. Like, when people don't respond, it has nothing to do with you. For all my non-responding, all of my, fall off the face of the planet saying, yes, I will, and then I didn't. Finally, 4 months later, I finally said yes. T25 was launching. I was like, all right, this is my jam. 25 minutes a day, I can do that. So I went all in with T25 in Shakeology, and I actually, within a few weeks, guys, I had been plateaued for 9 months. Within a few weeks, I was finally off my plateau. I had finally hit my 50-pound loss mark. I was so excited. I want to rewind a little bit for you. So my daughter, Lily, who was born in December, the one that implemented this whole process for me, started this whole journey, also started another journey. Before I had her, I was like hugely pregnant, like about to have her. I swore up and down that I would never, ever, ever want to be a stay-at-home mom, ever. Like, in my mind, you couldn't pay me enough money to want to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, my path in my mind was always corporate, was going to be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Like, that was my path. So much so that I was in the last semester of my MBA when she came into this world. That was the life we had built. I had 6 figures in student debt. I made twice as much as my husband did income-wise. We had tons of debt. There was no possible way that I could be a stay-at-home mom. When she came into this world, she turned it completely upside down. All I wanted to do was be home with her. I did not want to go. I did not want to work in corporate. I did not want to spend any more time away from her than I absolutely had to. And it was a miserable feeling, knowing that I built a life and a future that I no longer wanted. And I felt trapped. I felt like there was nothing I could do about it. There was no possible way for this to change. So I was resigned. It's the best way to put it. I was resigned to my life being as it was. Talk about a monkey on your back, right? Like, talk about that pressure and the weight of the world, waking up every day, hating the way that your life is, but feeling like there's nothing you can do about it, short of winning the lottery, which I don't even play. So I went on existing. I went on about my health and fitness journey, right? All right, so back to T25 Shakeology. Signed up in July of 2013. I actually signed up as a coach right away, mostly for the discount because I'm a total cheapskate. But I was open to the opportunity, but I wasn't open enough. I say I signed up as a hobby coach, meaning I shared when I felt like it on social media, and that was about it. So I hit Success Club my first month, yay, but that was it, because I was not doing the work. Because I thought this was I just post on social media and magically everyone will come to me and I will see all this success and I will be able to quit my job and it'll be great. When that didn't happen, guess what? I quit. Surprise, surprise, right? So I just kind of stopped doing it. I stopped showing up. Found out at the end of T25 on Halloween of that year that I was pregnant with my second daughter, Valerie. The next day I submitted my coach cancellation form. My upline reached out to me. I was like, hey, what's going on? And I said, I'm 5 weeks pregnant. I obviously can't do this. Thank you for the opportunity, but I'll have to wait until she's born next July to pursue this. And she's like, I totally support you and I love you and whatever you want, I understand. She's like, but I don't think you really get this. She's like, I don't think you fully understand the power of your story and the power of this opportunity. And she's right, I didn't. I completely didn't. My mind was, I am an overweight pregnant woman. Who the hell is going to want health and fitness advice from me? But luckily, whatever she said in that moment totally hit, and I withdrew my cancellation form. Praise Jesus. And then I became the coach that annoys everyone. So I was the customer everyone hated, and now I'm the coach that annoys everyone, in that I just kind of lurked. I didn't participate. I didn't show up for team calls. I didn't show up on the team page. I just kind of would watch what people were doing. I would stalk all the other coaches that had signed up around the same time. I just kind of hung out. I did that for 2 months. January of 2014 was when everything changed. I live in Wisconsin. Those of you who are not familiar with Wisconsin, it can get about -30 degrees with the wind chill in our winters. And this particular winter was particularly bad. We had a few days in a row of terribly cold weather, and they decided to close the schools for a day. And my daughter's daycare was attached to the school district, meaning that when they closed, the daycare closed. Found out the day before, told my boss, okay, I'm going to be working from home tomorrow. I was a metal buyer for an automotive company, a really boring job, something I was not passionate about, but it was pretty cush. I mean, if I'm being honest, good pay, good benefits, okay vacation, easy work. So, okay, fine, whatever. So I brought my laptop home, brought my cell phone home, stayed home with my, 1.5-year-old daughter, 2-year-old, and she was just 2 maybe. I remember thinking this particular day, I totally kicked ass that day, you guys. I nailed everything. I was on top of it all. My daughter was happy. Work was happy. We were sitting in front of the fireplace. It was the most cozy, wonderful day ever. I called it a unicorn day. It was just this amazing day that never happens, right? And I remember in that moment thinking, why can't this be my life every day? Why can't this be how it is? I was just kind of resigned again, daydream, yay, great, but that's not reality, right? So I'm back to work the next day feeling pretty good about myself. And then reality slapped me in the face. I got called into my boss's office, and she reprimanded me for missing work. It was not a good enough excuse that my daughter's daycare was closed, and I should have a plan B for those situations that do not involve me being home. And, I know that that's not the end of the world. It wasn't like I got fired. It wasn't anything actually terrible happened. But this job that I already hated was now telling me that I couldn't make the sacrifices that I needed to for my family, that I couldn't be there when they needed me. And that just didn't sit right with me. So I went back to my office being pregnant and hormonal, and I broke down and cried. I screamed at God, the universe, the world. I blamed everyone else, and I got pretty upset. And then I just got defeated. I just felt well, what am I going to do? God, give me a sign, because I don't know what the hell to do. This cannot be my life. I'm pregnant with a second. It is not going to get easier. And so what do we do when we're defeated and depressed? Well, I went on Facebook and I mindlessly scrolled my newsfeed. And I kid you not, guys, in that moment, every single post was from a coach on our team doing something amazing. They were talking about the lives that are changing and how happy they are and how fulfilled they are and how excited they are and how they're building the life of their dreams and how they're genuinely happy. I'm oh my gosh, it's been staring me right in the face this whole time. And in that moment, I decided, I'm all in. I already love the products. That's not a question. I love the company. I just needed to get behind the opportunity and realize the potential that it held for my life. So I sent a message to my coach and I said, I'm all in. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it's going to take, but I'm all in. Tell me what it's going to do, what I need to do, what it's going to take for me to be home with my kids in 1 year. And I'll do it. And that's exactly what I did. Whatever she told me, whatever path she set me on, was exactly what I did. Now, it wasn't easy. I'm not going to lie to you guys and say it was all sunshine and rainbows and unicorns. It was not. I was pregnant. I had a newborn half of that year. I had to go back to work that year still. There were plenty of ups and downs, but I will say that it was the best decision I've ever made, because just over a year later, I was home with my kids, something that 100% would not have been possible without this opportunity. Not possible. In fact, there are days it still catches me off guard that I'm able to live this way, that this is even my life, because this was not the case 3-4 years ago. So why didn't I quit Beachbody? I already just admitted to you guys it wasn't easy. That first year was not easy. Yet somehow I've been with Beachbody 4 times longer than I was with any company prior. So why is that? I'm going to give you guys 4 reasons. And these reasons are not rocket science. They are not anything you haven't heard before, unless you're brand new. I heard someone say that brand new coach on. So, okay, maybe for you, you've not heard this before. So yay. But the rest of you that have been around a while, this is not going to be anything new. But I just want to reinforce what you already know, because that's the thing, guys. When we talk about vital behaviors and stuff, that is the secret sauce to our business. Those are vital for a reason, because that's what's going to grow your business, right? All right, so these are the 4 reasons why I didn't quit. Number 1 is vision. My vision was crystal clear. The reason I didn't succeed before was because I didn't have that vision. I didn't attach coaching as the vehicle that could get me to where I wanted to go. I thought they were completely separate. I didn't think that could happen. Okay. But when I went all in, I was all in on my vision. I knew that if I worked hard enough, that if I showed up every day, if I did what she told me to do, and I kept learning and failing and getting up and doing it all over again, that I would eventually get to my goal. Like, my vision was so tangible. When I would put my kids to bed at night and lay next to them thinking, gosh, I don't want to get up tomorrow and have the chaos of the morning and dump you at daycare and go work at a place that I don't care about. I don't want to do that. So that would cause me to get out of bed, and instead of running to my room to crawl under the covers and go to sleep, I would get up and I would work. I would send 20 more messages, 50 more messages, sometimes 100 messages. I would just message every single person I possibly could to talk to about this, because I knew that it would get me closer to where I wanted to be. Now, maybe that's not your vision, and that's okay. If you love your job, good for you. That's awesome. I love that. Don't change. That's great. But that doesn't mean you don't have a vision. We all, every single one of us on this call, I'm sure, could come up with a list of things that we would like better about our lives, that we could change about our lives if we could, right? Maybe a little more money, a little more flex spending, right? Maybe a few more vacations. Maybe the possibility of your husband working less hours, or you quitting your part-time job, or putting your kids in a private school, or giving them extracurricular activities that they can do that are super expensive. My daughter's in dance. You would think that's not expensive. That is hella expensive. What the heck? Anyway, so yeah, like, think about what your life could be like if you didn't put any conditions on it. Like, if money wasn't an issue, if time wasn't an issue, what would your days look like? How would you spend your time? And then you have to look at coaching as the vehicle to take you there. Your life doesn't have to revolve around coaching. Okay, I think sometimes people get that misconception that those of us that have seen success or built these incredible lives of freedom and luxury, or whatever you want to call it, that, you know, we live and breathe coaching 100% of the day. That's not the case, but we treat it like it's important because it is. Because of coaching, I have the life I have now. So to go with vision has to be your mindset. It's number 2. My mindset was so different when I went all in compared to when I started. Okay? I was prepared for what I was going to face. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I knew I was going to have to get uncomfortable. I knew I was going to have to get vulnerable. I knew that I was going to have to do that. I knew I was going to end up talking to people who maybe didn't like what I had to say. All right? I also committed to personal development. I didn't do that the first time around. I ignored all of the vital behaviors first time around. All I did was share on social media. That's it. Being a product of the product was the only vital behavior I followed. The second time around, personal development all the way. Your mindset has to be right. If you are someone who is sitting there thinking, I'm at Success Club 0, but I've been messaging my butt off, I've been inviting like crazy, I know what I'm saying is right, and I know that I'm doing enough, but you're still not getting the results you want, I would bet everything I own that it has to do with your mindset, that it has to do with doing more personal development, doing different personal development, finding something that speaks to you, and getting your head in the right place. Anytime that I've suffered in my business, it has been 100% related to my mindset. Self-doubt creeped back in, comparison started happening instead of, keeping my blinders on and focus on what I'm doing. So you have to learn to be very self-critical in a good way. That's part of being a CEO, is knowing what to change and why. And you have to learn to have that very objective view of yourself. So mindset is key. The reason number 3, I didn't quit. I accepted the challenges. I knew that being an entrepreneur was not going to be easy. I also knew that I was taking it on in a time in my life when I maybe shouldn't have taken on something extra. But this was that important to me. When I said yes, when I was all in, I was pregnant, I had a toddler terrorist at home, I had a husband I loved, I worked 45 plus hours a week in a full-time job, and we were buying a house and moving. So it was like on paper, the worst possible time for me to want to do something else, to do something extra. But in my mind, it was the best possible time. My back was against the wall. It was this or it was nothing. There was no plan B in my mind. There was no, I'll just exist the rest of my life the way I'm existing right now. Because that was a miserable thought to me. That was way more painful than getting up and staying up 2 extra hours a night. Way more painful than getting a little uncomfortable on social media. Like, this business is all about, you have to look at these things like risk benefit analysis, right? I like economics in college, so bear with me. But it's all about every choice you make, there's a risk benefit analysis that has to be done, right? Because every choice you make, you're giving up something else, right? So in this case, think about this. If I don't share on social media, my life stays the way it is now. If I don't message somebody, if I choose to go to bed, if I choose to not do my vital behaviors, nothing in my life will change. But if I choose to do these 4 simple things every single day, my life could be incredibly different in just a couple of years. That's a pretty awesome thing if you think about it. Like, really, the risk in this business is not very high. You're not investing a lot of money. The investment is super low, actually, if we all consider that. All you're investing is your time, your energy, and what you're sharing with people. That's it. Sure, you open yourself up to failure, to falling on your face, to rejection. But I look at it like this. When you look at failure, what is it? Who says that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take? So with the fear of failure is so silly if you think about it, because if that's what's stopping you, you're guaranteeing yourself failure. If you at least try, if you at least put yourself out there and you at least go for it, there's a chance you could succeed. So you have to put yourself out there. You have to go for it. You have to accept the challenges as they come to you. Because this isn't going to be easy. There are going to be people that quit. There are going to be people that criticize. You're going to have bad days. It happens. I love this business. I love what I do. I love the people. I love the community. I love the company. I love the products. I love everything about it. And I even love the challenges. Okay? Because those challenges, those days when all of the coaches are quitting and no one's talking in my challenge groups and everyone is saying no, those days where it just feels like, nothing is working, those days are still infinitely better than a good day in my life before Beachbody. You have to accept the challenge. You have to lean into the storm instead of running away from it. That's part of being an entrepreneur. There's going to be bad days. It's just part of the roller coaster, right? It's part of the job. So own that and be okay with that and accept that our challenges, it means you're doing something right. If you're getting resistance, that means you should 100% keep going because you're on the verge of success. So number 4, why I didn't quit is I did the work and I owned being a CEO. I owned my business. My upline never had to tell me, never had to warn me about losing my diamond, never had to reach out to me because I wasn't at Success Club yet. I owned that piece of my business from the day that I said I'm all in. I owned it. It was my responsibility. You guys have a great upline. They are not responsible for your success. It's harsh, but it's true, right? They are not responsible. They are not your babysitter. They are not your boss. You are the boss. You own your business. And being a CEO is a huge part of your mindset. I committed to never losing my diamond. I've never once lost diamond, ever. Once I hit it, I held it. Those 2 or 3 months into my business, I never lost it, not 1 week, because I committed to that. No, yeah, if I would have lost it for a week, my income wouldn't have changed a whole lot. It wouldn't have been the end of the world. But I made the decision in my mind that was never going to happen. So that meant on a week when I risked losing my diamond, what do you think I did? I busted my ass to make sure that didn't happen. It meant I worked twice as hard, I messaged twice as many people, and my business thrived because of it. I didn't just hold my diamond. I hit my other goals too. I hit Success Club and I rank advanced further. And I found some of my best friends, like some of those people that, you think about talking to complete strangers on social media. My mindset has completely changed on that because I've met some of my absolute favorite people in the entire world because of that. Some of my favorite challengers, some of my favorite coaches who are now some of my best friends are because I had the balls to just say, hey, how are you doing? Let's chat. It's all about perspective, right? So the CEO mindset is a perspective. Like, you need to have that about yourself. Own your leadership, own your business. Okay. The success lies on your shoulders, no one else's. You know what to do. Everything you need to do is laid out for you. It's all there. All of the resources are there for you in your COO, in your FAQs, on YouTube, in your team page. There are resources everywhere, okay? You know what to do. It's just a matter of execution and staying consistent. That's the key to success. That's it. Do it and do it every day. The end, right? One of my favorite quotes is, no path to greatness has ever involved settling for less than what you really want. So if you want something different in your life, stop settling. That's what I did for a really long time. I almost didn't open myself up to this opportunity because I was so focused on settling for what I had. I wasn't even willing to open up the possibility for greatness because I was so focused on settling. So break that settling mindset and look for greatness in every way that you can. That's all I have for you guys. If you guys have any questions, or if you want me to expand on anything, I'm happy to share. I realize I talk really fast and kind of all over the place.
I have a question to start with, Danielle.
Yeah.
You said that at the beginning, the one thing you weren't doing was your PD.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I really struggle with. Like, it's like I have to do it. I always put it off. What's some PD that you recommend that really, hooked you in to know you had to do it every day?
Okay. So one is, if you're really, really busy, which I'm sure a lot of you are, like, if that's like your constant excuse for yourself is, I'm too busy, I have so much to do, I'm on the go, I can't stop and read, I can't whatever. Fill your empty time with PD, like while you're cooking, in the shower, in the car. I mean, for a long time, I would get my PD when I was working full time, because my time really was very limited. I had a Jim Rohn CD. Don't ask me which one it is. I'm sure I could figure it out if I tried. But it was the same CD for like months in my car. And I would listen to it on the way to work, on the way to the grocery store. It was just always like, like you start your car and it like starts playing again. And I swear I listened to that CD hundreds of times. I probably should have it memorized by now. But every time I would like get in the car and I'd be like depressed about work or something. And I remember I'd get to where I'm going. I'd be all like, yeah, like, let's do this. Like, take it, world. Let's do it. Like, I was like super excited. So it just like filled my time. It wasn't so much about what it was telling me, just that like I was surrounding myself with goodness. Like, I think it's Darren Hardy in The Compound Effect talks about like filling your mind with good things instead of garbage. So instead of listening to the radio and all of the BS there, I listened to something good. So I think sometimes it's as simple as that, just taking out, like if you watch the news, stop watching the news and watch a YouTube video instead. I also am a big believer in a soulmate PD. Like, a lot of people talk about soulmate workouts. I also think everyone has like a soulmate PD, like a speaker or an author or a podcast that like just speaks to you. Like, every time you hear it, it just like gets you. For me, that's Jen Sincero, You're a Badass. Like, I could pick up that book in any spot, anytime, and it will always speak to me. Maybe that's not yours, and that's cool. But you got to figure out what yours is. If it's Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, of course I can't think of anything else right now. Like, Grant Cardone is another one that I really like. Like, he just gets me fired up. But I think that's the biggest thing, is finding what speaks to you, because everyone's going to be different. And once you do, it's not that you don't read or do anything else, but then at least you have something to go back to when you're just desperate, like when you feel like, gosh, my mindset's really sucking right now, I need something to pick me up. If you know what your soulmate is, like, you can just pick that up and go back to it and just remind yourself. I also love YouTube videos, like those, just like if you just type motivation in YouTube, it just comes up with a crap ton of like compilations and stuff of like really powerful speakers. That's great for getting you pumped up. Like, I've had it where, I wake up and I do my PD and I feel really good, and then things kind of start to fall apart. Like, the kids are crabby and, I'm not getting stuff done that I want to get done, and my workout sucked, or like, whatever, like things just kind of happen, and I sit down to do my work and I'm like, oh, I did my PD already, but I like feel grumpy. Those videos are like my, like, okay, like I need to like get myself hyped up, like pre-game kind of thing. Like, I gotta get myself like in the right mindset. Like, that really helps. But I think it's just a matter of finding what works for you. I cannot listen to books online. Like, I can't listen to Audible. I tried it, but I do not get enough out of it. Like, it's just a waste of time to me. Like, I don't focus on it enough. So I think it's just a matter, and some people can't do reading. Like I've had coaches that just can't, they physically cannot sit still for 10 minutes to read. You just have to figure out what works for you. Test them all, test different methods, and find what works best for you. But you have to make it a non-negotiable. Like you have to treat it like your workout, treat it like drinking your shake. Like it just needs to be something that's so important that your head can't hit the pillow until you've done it. And then once I think you start doing it, to me, I will say it's kind of like a roller coaster for me. As much as I live and breathe P, there are times where I do less of it. And when I feel that way, once I force myself, like I remind myself and kind of get refocused on it, all it takes is one good book or one good piece of PD to get me reminded of how good it is. And then I look forward to it again. So just kind of change it up and play around with it and figure out what works for you, if that helps.
Thank you. It does.
Oh, no problem. My kids hate when I play it in the car, if that's helpful at all. that doesn't always go over so well. They prefer Moana. Does anybody else have any questions?
Well, I can always jump in, Danielle. That was freaking awesome. Like everyone loves your energy. So leaving your full-time job in 1 year, like that's serious freaking hard work. And if you, who's the author that you brought up, Grant Cardone, like the 10X rule, like I'm guessing that's what you did. Like you 10X. So if you guys never read or heard of the 10X rule, it's pretty much just doing everything like times 10, like going balls to the wall with the vital behavior. So Danielle, what do you think, what was that main, was it all 4 or 3 vital behaviors that got you to that goal so quickly?
So like which of the vital behaviors you're saying, or like what pieces of them?
Yeah, like what do you think was like, what do you think was the main like thing?
I think I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think for me, the biggest thing was consistency in my behaviors. Because this business is very much momentum based, I think. Like I've noticed over the last 3.5 years that things kind of come in a 3-month cycle for me. So whatever I did 3 months ago is what I'm reaping the rewards or suffering the consequences of. So that's the importance of consistency, is that if you want to see consistent growth in your business, you need to be on top of it consistently. Because if you have a shitty month now, that means you're going to have a shitty month in like 3 months. Like that's just kind of how it goes. But I will say, I like that you brought that up, because it wasn't, when I quit my job, I'm going to be really honest with you guys, I wasn't right where I wanted to be income-wise. For me, it was a little bit of a leap of faith because I was so miserable. And I saw what was happening in my business and I trusted it and I believed in it enough that I took a leap of faith. There's a part of, remember I mentioned You Are a Badass, there's a part of that book, those of you that are familiar with it, where she talks about the car. There's this car she was driving, it was a hunk of junk, she had like duct tape over her windows, and she knew she needed to get a new car, so she went to a dealership. I think there was like an Audi dealership and a Honda dealership next to each other. And she went and she's like, before I knew it, I was driving the Audi, you know, I'm sitting on these like plush leather seats, the guy's like pitching me in the passenger seat, and she's like, I'm sitting there thinking, there's no way I'm buying this car, like I'm gonna go park it and then I'm gonna go buy me a Honda like I'm supposed to. And then she said, but before I knew it, I was leaving with the Audi. And she said, and that year was like her first big year. Like she made her first $100,000. She, you know, had all these successes, and she attributed it to putting her back against the wall. Like she made the decision, and she knew that if she would have bought the Honda, she would still be paying it off. Like she would never have taken big leaps. She never would have pushed herself. So in a way, I kind of did that when I officially quit my job. Yes, I was seeing success. Like, don't get me wrong. I was making very good income. Like I was seeing a lot of things happen that I wanted to have happen. But I probably quit about 6 months before I really wanted to. But I knew that if I did it, that I would push harder than ever because it would be on me. And it really did. Like in those like first 6 months that I quit my job, my income probably tripled. And it was because, like you said, 10Xing. I messaged everyone. I did not hold back. There was no like, do you guys ever do it where you go to message somebody and you talk yourself out of it? I did that a lot my first year. I think a lot of people do, you know, like you go with your sure bets, or you're like the people that you know are going to be receptive to what you have to say. Well, when I quit my job, it was, I don't have that luxury anymore. I have to message the people that scare me. I have to message the people that I'm not sure that are a wild card. And I have to just put myself out there. And in doing that, I actually got more positive response than I ever expected. So I think it's getting over that little piece of vulnerability, that like putting yourself out there and really giving it your all, not just 10xing in how much action you do, but in who you contact and in why you contact and how much you share of yourself. I think being authentically you is a really, really important piece that I didn't learn probably to about halfway through my first year of being consistently a coach, that you need to just share who you are and be yourself. You know, like you don't need to be a cookie cutter coach. You shouldn't be, because that's what's going to set you apart, is who you are. I don't know if that answers your question, Rose.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think even going into this, even if you didn't quit your job or like do that big thing that had your back up against the wall, just having that mindset of this is it. Like you don't have a plan B. And I know it's really hard to be in that mindset if you do have something else that's like behind your back, but try and put yourself in that mindset, because you got to make it happen. Like that is the last resort. Awesome. Anyone else with any questions or comments? And Danielle, really quick, you're in the shift shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. How are you liking it?
Oh, I love it. I talked about soulmate workouts. That's totally mine. I love it. Chris Downing is like nothing else Beachbody's ever had. I mean, like the other trainers are great. Don't get me wrong, but like he lit a fire under me like nothing else. He's so inspiring. He really gets in your head. I love that it's called Shift Shop. Like I wasn't sure about it when I first heard the name. I was like, what name is that?
Pronounce it.
Yeah, like Shift Shop. Yeah, like I like can't say it. No, but like it's perfect. Like having done it now, it's perfect, because it's not just about a physical shift. It's totally that mindset shift. I had a lot of personal breakthroughs mindset wise with that program. It's awesome. You guys all have to do it. It's awesome. It's hard, but it's awesome.
We like hard. Christina did write a question in the comment box.
Yeah. What's your go-to message to those people for reaching out? I feel like I say the same shit. I like something different. No, I love it. So yeah, So like, are you talking about people? I'll give you both. It's okay. Okay. So for like people that I'm like cold messaging, like people that I'm like, we don't have a relationship and I'm just messaging them. I have a pretty standard script that I use. It's just very generic. So like, it's something like, I have to think of what it is now. It's like, hey girl, how are you doing? Hope you're having a great day. I just want to say hi. Would love to chat soon. That's it. Like, it's very like non-confrontational, genuine. I hope you're having a good day. I hope your life is great. Like, for the most part, for those people that I don't know, for people that I kind of know, or they post fairly often on social media, I might reference something like, oh my gosh, your girls are so cute. Oh, I see that they took swimming lessons. How did they like it? Like, I might try to like bring up something that we can relate to each other on. But a lot of times when they're totally cold and they don't post a lot on social media, I just do a very generic, very difficult to be offended by message. Because really, like, who doesn't love being told, have a good day? Like, I hope you're having a great day. Like, for the most part, I either don't get a response or I get just a, oh, hey, thanks. That was really sweet of you. Like, or they don't say, like, and sometimes it's that they don't say anything, but at least now I'm kind of on their radar. Like, at least now I'm going to pop up in their newsfeed. Like, if you guys know anything about like the Facebook algorithm, if you guys have conversation back and forth, you're going to see their stuff and they're going to see your stuff. So if you can at least get one response, even if it's a goddamn thumbs up, even if you get that, I hate that thing so much. I did it accidentally in a thread the other day and I like wanted to punch myself. I was like, I'm so sorry, you guys. That's the worst possible thing ever. I'm sorry. Sorry if you guys like that. I hate that thing. But yeah, like, even if you get that, it's at least going to make you pop up more. They're going to pay attention to what you're doing. Or they might just go and creep on your page. I've had it where I send that message and a week later they're messaging me about something that I'm posting. They don't even acknowledge the first message I sent, but don't overthink that. Like, this is definitely the place I've gotten to with my business, is that those messages, if you send that message and that person unfriends you because you sent them a nice message, that is not someone you want to work with. Like, that's not someone you really want to hang out with or be friends with or try to work with, right? Like, we want open-minded people. We want people who are open to change and open to possibilities. And if they unfriend you or like tell you off, like, they are so not your people. Like, and that's okay. Do not cast that wide net. You want people who are receptive to you, who are your tribe, who get you and vibe with you. So don't overthink those first messages. Look at it as like, it's a benefit to you. It's like a weeding out process. Like, if they don't even care enough to talk to you, or they don't, like they don't want to be a part of your life, like it's cool. In fact, I actually do, when I add people to my network, I will add them. So like I'll send a bunch of friend requests today, and as people accept them, I don't do anything with them today. The next day, I use Teamsy. I don't know if you guys use that, but it's a really great like tracker website. If you guys don't use it, it's awesome. Look into it. I enter them into Teamsy. So like they've accepted one day. The next day, I enter them into Teamsy, and I put a reminder to talk to them the next day. So I don't actually send them a message thanking them for accepting my friend request until 2 days later. The reason I do that is because it gives them a chance to see who I am. And if they don't want to be my friend, then they can unfriend me, and we don't have to even waste our time on that conversation process. So when I get to that point, if I type in their name, like the reminders come up, oh, talk to this person, I'll type their name into Facebook. And if they are no longer my friend, I just delete them off Teamsy and I move on. Because that just shows me that whatever I was saying, they didn't want to hear, and that's okay. But if they've kept me around, that means maybe they're okay with it. So I send them like a similar generic message just saying, hey girl, thanks for accepting my friend request. I love connecting with fun new people. Are you from this area? Like if I know that they're kind of from the area, I'll say, are you from the city that I'm from? Hope you have a great day. Like just like a super generic, nothing invasive or crazy. So that's kind of how I work that.
And then Tracy kind of had a follow-up to that. Like that's okay. How do you make a connection after that initial connection? How do you invite them to join your challenge group?
It kind of depends for me. I usually I don't do a lot of cold invites, if I'm being honest. I do them, but I try to wait until we've established some sort of relationship or until they've liked or commented on something I've posted. Like the second they like or comment on anything that I post, to me, that opens the door. That means that they are creating a relationship with me, and I'm going to return the favor and we're going to chat. If they say anything, like sometimes I will get people who say, oh, it looks like you post really inspiring things. Thanks for doing that. Or like, I love what you share, what your posts. Then I might open it up and invite them. It kind of depends on the person, and it depends on my goals, to be honest. Like if I'm already where I want to be, I don't send a lot of cold invites because I would rather wait until it develops naturally. But if I'm going ham and I'm like gunning for Success Club or I'm, whatever, I will send cold invites. And then it's just, I'm asking them for a favor. Like if they've at least responded to my initial message, that's my one thing they have to do is they have to at least respond to either, hey girl, how are you doing? Or the, hey girl, thanks for accepting my friend request. If they've done that, if they've accepted that and they've responded in some capacity, then I will sometimes send a message that says, hey, I have a huge favor to ask. I'm starting up this new group, this new health and fitness accountability group. I'm looking for 4 new badass women to join my group. Like, do you know of anybody who's looking to, and then whatever, like get healthy and fit or looking for extra accountability? If you do, could you let me know? I'd really appreciate it. Because it's not pointing the finger at them. It's very, like I said, kind of like non-offensive. And actually sometimes that will get them to open up to me. Like sometimes they will then say, well, I'm interested. What does that mean? So asking for a referral is always like a really good icebreaker in terms of opening up the conversation about your challenge group, especially if you've never had that conversation. So in terms of how long I wait, it just really depends on a lot of factors. I go strictly based off my Teamsy numbers also, if that helps at all. If you guys are I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but I'll just go into it. Basically on Teamsy, you set your income goal that you want to make. What I did is I 10x'd that. So I took what I wanted to make this year and I multiplied it by 10. And then it tells me how many prospects I have to talk to, how many customers I have to talk to, and how many coaches I have to talk to in the day, and how many invites and ads I have to have in my network. So I will go strictly based off that. So there are some times where I have a lot of prospects kind of like going, like a lot of good conversations that my invites just like go really fast and I don't have to do the cold invites. There are some times where I don't have a lot of people to invite where I have to implement the cold invites to hit my number. So if you use that method, I guess it'll just kind of depend on your people. But I think building a little bit of a relationship, at least getting them to open up to you a little bit is a good approach. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Anyone else? Last call.
Thank you so much for this call tonight.
You're very welcome. You're welcome, guys. Thanks for having me.
And we also have another Wisconsin, if that's what you call yourselves.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. We're in Wisconsin. Can I ask?
Oshkosh, I think.
Oshkosh.
Oshkosh, that's not that far from. I'm in Sheboygan. That's not that far.
Awesome.
Very cool. Yeah. Go Packers. Sorry, not sorry.
All right. Thank you so much, Danielle. That was awesome.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
I'll talk to you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.